On January 6, 2020, Russian top player Dolphy verified the once impossible level known as Tartarus. It was seemingly community icon Riot's last project left to be released to the public, and its hardest by a long shot. Upon its release to the servers, the level would be instantly placed at number 1 on the demon list, and to this day, holds the record for the longest reigning level at the number 1 spot, at 526 days. Making a level harder than Tartarus was a community goal for upwards of 2 years, and many tried and failed until Tartarus was finally unseated by both Slaughterhouse and Firework, which placed at number 1 and number 2 respectively. Let's rewind a bit. The date is July 7th, 2021. A week ago, Sonic Wave Infinity was placed at number 3 on the demon list, after being expected to be the level to dethrone Tartarus. Additionally, an unknown player at the time named Trick would achieve a run of 88% on Firework at around the same time, which would eventually end up harder as we talked about before. However, we're talking about July 7th here. On this day, Riot would showcase a level that would soon take the community by storm. Its name was Acheron. Boasting many similarities to Tartarus, Acheron took what's made its predecessor difficult and amplified them tenfold. At the time, Acheron looked to be humanly impossible. However, we wouldn't have to wait too long for progress to emerge from its verifier. Wolves is an incredibly skilled Swedish player who has beaten several top demons, including Truefet, Sonic Wave Infinity, and even Tartarus itself. He set out to verify the level shortly after Showcase aired. Wolf's first progress video came on October 28th and recorded runs of 38% and 33 to 68%, with a run of 47 and 92 mixed in as well. This was encouraging. Wolves was making solid runs on another potential top 1. However, with Slaughterhouse being verified 4 days earlier and Fireworks verification happening literally the next day, Wolves chose to buff Acheron. Astonishingly, only a week after his first progress video, Wolves will record a run that put the community on notice. "66%. Having achieved this run on his buffed copy, the community was eager to see just how hard Acheron really was, with Slaughterhouse and Firework being added to the list literally the day before. A new competitor to the list was emerging. Progress seemingly slowed for a bit as Wolves worked on other projects, but on December 19th, he would post his next progress video. Wolves was in the home stretch, and now it seemed likely that the level would be verified soon. However, this was ultimately not the case. Wolves would continue to inch closer and closer, achieving runs of both 92% and 96% in the new year. Unfortunately, due to some health issues for Wolves, he gradually played less and less and eventually dropped the verification on April 7th, 2022, with only 4% left to go. There was some confusion as to what would happen with the level, or who the next verifier would be, but after Wolves uploaded his even more buffed copy of Acheron to the servers, the race to verify Acheron was underway. Progress from competitors would begin shortly after this announcement. A very unknown player by the name of Thunder would achieve his first runs of 38% and 17 to 51%, just 2 days after the verification became public. His first competitor, however, would emerge only 6 days later. Korean top player Beru, verifier of Truefet, would achieve a run of 49 to 100. It seemed like the race was already heating up. However, this would be the only progress that either of these players would post even to this day. On April 21st, another unknown player and streamer by the name of OneAlphaHelix, bro, who the f is this guy, would post a run of 38%, drawing equal with Thunder's best run. Being currently uncontested, Alpha's confidence improved, coming off a victory over Tartarus a month prior. The numbers slowly creeped up, becoming 44%, 55%, and eventually 67% on May 21st. Alpha's drive to continue playing the level was astonishing, as he racked up over 100,000 attempts in this time frame. It seemed like Alpha was the favorite to verify the level, until he got a fierce competitor. Enter Zoink. Fresh off the back of beating the entire top 10 on the demon list, he picked up Acheron and evaporated Alpha's entire lead almost immediately, reaching 66% on May 25th, and took the lead in the race 4 days later, recording a run of 82%. Zoink had arrived, and was the clear favorite to win the race. This led to demotivation for Alpha, who ended up taking a break from the level for some time. But this wouldn't be the last we would see from him. All eyes were on Zoink though, who further bested his own record with a run of 91% on June 2nd. He was approaching Wolf's mark of 96%. Now the looming question was, could he finish it off?
No! It spawned on me. No.
Just 6 days after his run of 91%, Zoink met the same fate as Wolves, with a run of 96%. The community was in disbelief. Zoink had only begun playing the level not even 3 weeks ago, and was showing his superior skills on full display. All he had to do was close it out. It was around this point where Alpha would return to Acheron and continue the slow grind. At this point, it seemed like winning the verification race was an impossible task, and was destined to finish behind his competitor. However, despite being so close, Zoink would put Acheron to the side, for the time being. This gave Alpha, who was continuously grinding the level, a small glimmer of hope in the coming months. July was a relatively uneventful month for the race. Zoink occasionally played the level, but was unable to progress anymore. Alpha continued his slow but methodical grind over the summer. He was able to achieve good runs, but was unable to improve his best run. Top players were taking note of the lack of progress by the competitors, and some ended up trying the level, but to no avail. It seemed like the race had reached a standstill, with nobody making any moves. However, at the turn of the month, the race to verify Acheron would be turned upside down. Alpha finally broke his stalemate in progress by recording 72% on August 1st. However, the next day, he had no idea what he was in for. On August 2nd, the most bizarre turn of events would unfold. After hinting at a comeback for a few days, Wolves, the former verifier of the level, would enter the race, and would record several high percentage runs instantaneously. Later that day, a new competitor would emerge, who looked to finish Acheron in a heartbeat. It is none other than Space UK. After making normal progress on the previous few days, Space would record a run of 72%, matching Alpha's best run. It now seemed like the race was in a three-way battle between Space, Wolves, and Alpha, with Zoink showing no signs of progress. However, just hours after Space's 72% run, Space would drop the level. It was a surprising decision, seeing how quickly he was making progress, but in Space's words, he described Acheron as the most miserable thing he's ever played. So now, the playing field shrunk down to Alpha and Wolves. Could the underdog who had given his all be enough to take down the master of the level from the start? After Wolves achieved another run of 82% on August 6th, that seemed unlikely. However, Wolves would fade away from the scene after this, seemingly leaving Alpha as the only active player once again. However, days later, yet another new competitor would emerge. This is Doggy, a skilled content creator, editor, and top player, who had just committed to Acheron. He continuously streamed his progress on Twitch, and recorded solid progress. Alpha once again had a competitor. The two publicly broadcasted their every move on the level for upwards of 2 weeks, and it was looking like the race would now be on full display on all fronts. But the field wasn't done expanding yet. On August 18th, he returned.
No. Okay.
Zoink was back, achieving runs of 97%, as well as 95% and 96% again. The speedster had returned across the finish line, but Alpha had one last breath left in him. The same day as Zoink's 97% run, he would record a run of 79%. He was making his presence known, now over 200,000 attempts deep. The three players would play every day going forward, but the community wouldn't have to wait long after this to see the deciding blow. On August 22nd, 13 months after the first preview of Acheron was showcased, the race was officially over. Zoink had done it. After 72,000 attempts, he had verified the level that so many tried before him. By this point, Tartarus had fallen to number 9 on the demon list, and it seemed like Acheron would be the level to knock its older brother out of the top 10, with Mayhem's placement looming. Acheron was rated by Rob top 5 days later, and on September 26th, the level's legacy on the demon list would begin. A new era of the list was now beginning. The level was shockingly placed at number 2 on the demon list, below Slaughterhouse, but it didn't last long. On October 7th, Acheron would move up to number 1, continuing Tartarus' legacy and putting an end to Slaughterhouse's reign, and still holds that spot to this day. The race saw upwards of a dozen total competitors, but in the end, Zoink came out on top. Space UK would beat the level to become its first victor on October 22nd, and Doggy would soon follow on November 1st. They are the only people to have beaten Acheron to this day. Verification races have always been intriguing to the community, and Acheron's competition was truly one for the history books. The race to beat the hardest Jam Trash level was now cemented into time.